In the late 18th century, Iran stood fractured. The once mighty Safavid Empire had collapsed. The Zand dynasty teetered, and warlords fought over the corpse of Persia. Out of this chaos, a shadow emerged, cold, calculating, and unstoppable. Aga Mohammad Khan Qajar, a eunuch turned warlord, a victim turned conqueror, and a founder of a dynasty that would rule Persia for nearly 140 years. This is the story of ambition and betrayal, of velvet thrones and iron fists. This is the rise and fall of the Qajar Dynasty. Aga Muhammad Khan Qajar reigned 1789 to 1797. Born in 1742 into the Qajar tribe, Aga Muhammad Khan's life was destined for struggle. As a child, he was captured by a rival tribe and brutally castrated, a violent act meant to deny him the throne forever. But what it created was something far more dangerous. A man without family, without legacy, with only one desire: power. For decades, he fought and maneuvered. He rose through the ranks of tribal politics, conquering rival factions and laying siege to cities. He marched south and crushed the remnants of the Zand dynasty. In 1785, he entered Tehran and made it his capital. By 1789, he crowned himself Shah of Iran, but his rule was merciless. When the city of Kerman resisted, he retaliated with legendary cruelty. 20,000 eyes were gouged out. The city burned. His power was absolute, but his reign was short. In 1797, in the city of Shusha, he was murdered in his sleep by his own servants, betrayed by those closest to him. His body was returned to Tehran in a glass coffin. Though he died without heirs, he left behind an empire, one held by blood and terror. Fath Ali Shah Qajar, reign 1797 to 1834. The throne passed to his nephew Baba Khan, who took the name Fath Ali Shah. With a beard that reached his knees and a harem of over 1,000 women, he epitomized the image of an Eastern monarch. Yet behind the gold and silk was a ruler unprepared for the storm coming from the north. Under his reign, Russia launched two devastating wars against Persia. The first, 1804 to 1813, ended with the Treaty of Gulistan, forcing Persia to surrender vast territories in the Caucasus: Georgia, Dagestan, Baku. Still reeling from the loss, Persia challenged Russia again in 1826. But once more, it ended in humiliation. The Treaty of Turkmenchay in 1828 stripped away even more land, including Armenia and parts of Azerbaijan. Iran's northern border was forever redrawn. To pay for court expenses, Fath Ali Shah began granting concessions to foreign merchants. British and Russian influence deepened. By the end of his reign, Persia was a shadow of its former self, weakened, fragmented, and increasingly dominated by outside powers. Muhammad Shah Qajar, reign 1834 to 1848. Muhammad Shah, son of Abbas Mirza, came to the throne in 1834. He was shy, reclusive, and often sick. He suffered from gout and relied heavily on his Grand Vizier and foreign advisors. His rule was marked by missed opportunities. One of his greatest ambitions was to recapture Herat, the historic city in present-day Afghanistan. But British opposition and logistical failure turned the campaign into a disaster. Persia's dream of reclaiming Herat was crushed. At home, a new movement emerged, one that would challenge not just the Qajars, but the very religious fabric of Persia. A man named the Bab began preaching a new vision of faith, a mix of Shiism and messianic prophecy. Though Muhammad Shah tolerated him at first, tensions would soon erupt into violent conflict. When Muhammad Shah died in 1848, Persia was again in turmoil. The world was changing, and Persia was falling behind. Naser al-Din Shah Qajar, reign 1848 to 1896. Then came Naser al-Din Shah, the longest reigning Qajar monarch. He ruled for 48 years, nearly half a century of Persian history. Intelligent, curious, and stubborn, he began his reign with great hope. He crushed the followers of the Bab in a brutal crackdown, executing thousands and reinforcing the power of the clergy. But he also embraced reform. He established the first modern school, introduced photography, and launched a modern postal system. He traveled to Europe 3 times, the first Persian monarch to do so, and was both dazzled and disturbed by what he saw. But back home, he sold his kingdom, piece by piece. The infamous tobacco concession of 1890 gave a British company control over Persian tobacco. Protests exploded nationwide. Merchants shut their shops, clerics issued fatwas, women marched in the streets. It was a national awakening. In 1896, during a pilgrimage to the shrine of Shah Abdul Azim, Naser al-Din Shah was assassinated by a follower of the Bab. He died with a camera in his hands, a modern king killed by an ancient grudge. Mozaffar al-Din Shah Qajar, reign 1896 to 1907. His son Mozaffar al-Din Shah inherited not only the throne, but also the mounting debt and public anger. He was gentle, indecisive, and obsessed with European travel. He borrowed heavily from foreign banks to fund his extravagant trips and purchases. In 1906, the pressure finally boiled over. Intellectuals, merchants, and clergy demanded reform. Riots erupted. In a historic moment, the Shah signed the Persian constitution, establishing a parliament, or module, and a new vision of limited monarchy. But the victory was bittersweet. Mozaffar al-Din Shah died just days after signing the constitution. His final act gave Persia hope, but his successor would try to erase it. Muhammad Ali Shah Qajar, reign 1907 to 1909. Muhammad Ali Shah viewed the constitution as a threat to divine rule. Backed by the Russian-trained Cossack Brigade, he launched a coup in 1908. He ordered the bombardment of the miles, destroying the parliament building and arresting deputies. This betrayal ignited the Second Constitutional Revolution. Armed rebels from Tabriz, Isfahan, and Gilan marched on Tehran. In July 1909, they captured the capital and deposed the Shah. Muhammad Ali fled to Russia, then Europe, never to return as king. He would make one failed attempt to reclaim the throne, but his era was over. Ahmad Shah Qajar, reign 1909 to 1925. The last Qajar monarch was a boy, just 11 years old when crowned. Ahmad Shah began his reign under a regency. As he grew older, he tried to rule, but the empire around him was falling apart. World War I devastated Persia, even though it declared neutrality. Russian, British, and Ottoman forces turned the country into a battleground. Famine and disease claimed millions of lives. The economy collapsed. Banditry soared. In the aftermath of war, Reza Khan, a powerful military officer, rose through the ranks. A nationalist and modernizer, he took control of the army, then the government. By 1923, Ahmad Shah had left for Europe, ostensibly for medical treatment, but in reality, he was exiled. In 1925, Reza Khan pushed the Moguls to abolish the Qajar Dynasty. The crown passed to a new line, the Pahlavi Dynasty. Ahmad Shah would die in France in 1930, penniless, powerless, and forgotten. 7 kings, 136 years of rule. The Qajar Dynasty witnessed the transformation of Persia from tribal confederation to fragile state, from royal absolutism to constitutional revolution. They built palaces, signed treaties, and watched the world change around them. But they failed to evolve fast enough. Where others embraced reform, the Qajars clung to tradition. Where others fought for independence, they compromised for survival. Their dynasty ended not with a revolution, but with silence. A boy king exiled, a new order rising. Yet their story remains carved into the marble halls of Tehran, whispered in the pages of Persian history. The Qajars are gone, but their legacy endures.